So from about 6:37 a.m. to about 9:15, 9:20. No, sorry, 9:30 until about 9:30. From 6:30 to 9:30, I was in the bathroom with a blockage this morning. If it wasn't for an enema, I would be in the emergency room right now and they would be giving me surgery. Why would that be the case? Because I have so much PTSD from hospitals thanks to my mother and father abusing the right to put me in a hospital. I literally be playing with matches and they would try to make me out to be a serial killer and send me to the hospital. I jump into a pool, my mother tries to make it self-harming at the hospitals. I have side effects from medications like severe migraines. I'm at the hospitals and they're giving me Vicodin and then my mother is taking my Vicodin. I'm at the hospital and they're holding me down, giving me double doses of medication in the same hour because my roommate is a storyteller and the staff members do not know what to do when a roommate says you didn't take your medication. That's a good trick. If you're in a program and you want to get back at somebody, I've had this happen to me twice in my life. I don't know if it's the same child from the orphanage, but in the state hospital, I took my medication, many of them. I went back to my room, was eating a candy cane. My roommate was talking about drugs. I made fun of him because at this time I was getting too mature to talk about drugs. I still talked about weed and pot, but not like the stupid shit like cocaine being sugar and stuff like that. That's asshole talk. That's middle school. Look at the salt, it looks like cocaine. That's stupid talk. So I tell him, why? Do you want some? Why are you talking about coke? I start kind of like giving him a little jab for it. I'm like, hey, that's childish. He gets mad that I'm calling him childish for talking about drugs. So he gets out and goes in the hallway to talk to staff. I don't think much of it. He's the one making the problem. He's talking about cocaine, and all I said in return is, what, do you want some? Why the hell are you talking about cocaine? And then the conversation ended and he felt embarrassed. But then he got up, went in the hallway, and then staff came to the door. The staff member asked me in the doorway if I took my medication. I answered honestly and truthfully, yes, I did. You guys saw me take them. At this point, she goes, well, we're not so sure. I said, well, I just told you I took them, so now you can be sure. At this point, she goes, well, I don't think so. I think we're going to do this other stuff. She calls the staff. They start holding me down. They grab me by the shoulders. They toss me to the ground. They start telling me I got to take meds. I say, I already took them. I'm not taking a double dose, guys. I'm not taking a double dose of these dangerous pills. And they say, well, you got it. You got it. We're going to force them into you. At this point, I say, you guys are a bitch. You guys are going to get me hurt. You guys are going to get me... And they force the drugs into me. And I'm a drooling mess for the rest of the day. My heart's beating weird. I feel funny. I just took a double dose of things like Thorazine, Ritalin, Xanax, Seroquel, lithium, Lamictal, Risperidone. Those are the type of meds I took a double dose of. So now I'm just done. I'm fucked. This is what the state hospitals, this is what I remember when I walk into a hospital. When I also was homeless living in the woods, I remember the hospitals treating me very inappropriately. I remember the EMTs purposely trying to malpractice me as well just for fun. Just because I was homeless and they thought I was one of the drug addicts. Like one time I was shaky, seizing, having an anxiety attack. I had anxiety and it was making my neurological condition worse as well. I was close to a seizure and they called an ambulance. I got in the ambulance and remember, touch makes my neurological condition worse. The guy starts telling me he's going to put a tube down my throat for breathing. I ask him why. He goes, oh, it could be drugs. I said, there are no drugs. This is a guy who held a piece of glass to me. How does that have to do with fucking drugs? They go, well, we get calls here a lot for drugs. These are all different people. None of these two people are the same. Are you telling me that the EMTs are trained to think that every single person that ever came out of the shelter is a drug addict? Are you telling me that people are so ignorant this is what they believe? that people like Angly Beth, who are in their 30s, that literally have never done a drug in their life, that are goody two-shoes, that just went through the hospital system getting abused, that has their father stealing their Social Security and throwing their ass out to the street because they didn't make their room properly. Yes, Angly Beth was thrown out of her house while her father kept her Social Security for months on end, living in shelters while her father keeps her Social Security because she didn't clean her room and got in an argument. This is stupid shit. You got people in the shelter because the father wants to keep the money and throw the son out. If you want to throw your daughter out, you got to give her her money to go with it. And if she wants to spend it on something stupid, like staying with a buddy or a friend, well, she has a better chance than with you, apparently. Her friend won't throw her out because then the money won't come back. But the father, they feel entitled to their children's money, even when their children are in their 30s. And then when they don't like something like cleaning a room, they throw their ass out. And I had to hear this from Angly Beth crying to me. I was her boyfriend, and oh my God, the stuff I heard, I really related with her. She had to take pills she didn't need. She had her Social Security stolen. She had her eye popped out at a child and she was smacked around. I was definitely smacked around, but never any permanent damage. They did permanent damage to me with pills. They did permanent damage to her with pills and abuse. They popped her eye and it was crooked and all different. And this was all because of the Social Security Administration, and that our doctors and pharmaceutical companies took advantage of this father because he didn't speak any English. So they were able to do whatever they wanted, and they just charged Mass Health. So the doctors made more money, they had more clients. You got everybody down the line making money. Meanwhile, the taxpayers have to shell out more money because these doctors are greedy. I'm not even kidding. The biggest chunk of taxes are to pay greedy doctors and greedy pharmaceutical companies. Most of the taxpayer dollars to Mass Health goes to greed, goes to unnecessary treatments that the patient has no control over, that the doctors sign them up and start billing, the pharmaceutical companies start billing, and these people don't even have a choice, especially during childhood. They're forced to take the meds. They're forced to be billed. They're forced, and Mass Health pays for it all. This is a total system that allows the rich to get richer and the poor to get hurt.